and welcome back to Belle's Books. So I wanted to start posting videos again, and I thought a good place to start would be with a review of a book I have been reading since March. So this is a review of Samantha Shannon's Priory of the Orange Tree. And I was so excited to read this book. Literally so excited. I hadn't previously read anything by Samantha Shannon, and I was so excited for this book to be released. I was like following it on Twitter. I considered going to see her at one of her appearances. I think it was in Beijing. I literally was so excited for this book, and I really wanted to love it. I really did. And I didn't end up hating it, but it wasn't the book that I wanted it to be. I wanted it to be a fantasy adventure story that just like gripped me from the start until like the very last page, but instead it was more like a fantasy stroll that just kind of took me 7 months to finish reading. So that was quite disappointing for me. Usually if I really love a book, I'll finish it in under a week, usually like a few days. And I get that her book is a long one, but the fact that it took me 7 months to finish kind of indicates how uninterested I ended up being in the book, which is really sad because I really wanted to love it. So to explain a little bit to you about the Priory of the Orange Tree, I'll quickly read you the Goodreads blurb. The House of Berethnet has ruled Innis for 1,000 years. Still unwed, Queen Sabran IX must conceive a daughter to protect her realm from destruction, but assassins are getting ever closer to her door. Ea Durian is an outsider at court. Though she has risen to the position of lady-in-waiting, she's loyal to a hidden society of mages. Ead keeps a watchful eye on Sabran, secretly protecting her with forbidden magic. Across the dark sea, Tanae has trained all her life to be a dragon rider, but is forced to make a choice that could see her life unravel. Meanwhile, the divided East and West refuse to parley, and forces of chaos are rising from their sleep. So the biggest problem I had with this book is that it has the plot of a book half of its length, which makes it just kind of drawn out, boring, and just kind of sleepy. I actually follow Samantha Shannon on Twitter, and she once tweeted about how much she dislikes writing action and how much she prefers to write about world building, and the fact that she feels like that's one of her strengths. And I honestly think that those two statements sum up the Priory literally perfectly. The world building is fantastic. The details are descriptive and vivid, and you can literally imagine every single specific feature of her world in excellent detail. But it's very weak in terms of action and plot and moving forward and keeping you gripped in fast, feeling like it's fast and exciting. And of course this is only my own opinion, and I would be interested to hear what other people think about it, because on Twitter I've seen genuinely only positive feedback. So I kind of feel sad that I'm the only one who didn't enjoy this obviously amazing book. I'd also especially really be interested to hear people's thoughts on the ending, without giving too much away if anyone does want to read this. I just kind of felt the ending was a bit like flat, and that was another reason I was so disappointed in the book, because I'd spent so many months so invested in reading it. I kind of wanted a bigger like bang. That's what I wanted. I wanted more from the plot, I wanted more from the end, I wanted more from the characters. I just wanted everything to be more exciting, and I was so disappointed when it wasn't. Of course, there are all the feminist themes. It's been described as a feminist Game of Thrones, and it is a very feminist book. It's of a feminist world, basically. Women have a great deal more power than I've seen in most other fantasy books. And while there are women that are portrayed as evil, there are also women who are portrayed as good. There is not just evil women, which I feel like can sometimes happen with the fantasy genre. There are women and they're in positions of power, but they're often bad or evil, which makes you feel as a reader that they're not actually supposed to be qualified enough to be in the position of power, and kind of takes the book out of the feminist viewpoint, if that makes sense. There's also tons of LGBTQ relationships, and that's a strong theme, which is really interesting because I've honestly never read a fantasy book that's had that kind of focus before. So I did enjoy that. It was definitely a new type of fantasy book, and I would recommend it for that reason. But I wouldn't read it if you want something exciting. So I'd be really interested to hear what you think. So please comment down below whether you liked it, whether you didn't. Tell me what you think. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time.